Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Taipei 2015, our final stop of Season 9. We have Katowice on the way in March, of course, so make sure you're getting hyped for that one. Plenty of cash involved as ever as we head towards the World Championship. Last year's champion SOS also, of course, in action throughout 2014, but not this time making it through automatically to the grand final. We'll have to see whether he makes it through. One man that's definitely through is Hero. Earlier on he went through Group A, and we're now concentrating on Group B. We've got a bevy of guests on the desk once more. Apollo, Kalaris and Susie all joining me for the upper bracket final. It's, God, I was going to say it was a classic game coming up. Just blown the pun of the day, haven't I, really? Yeah, that's terrible, isn't it? Okay, let's all just bow our heads in shame at that one. That was awful. So yeah, it is going to be classic. Classic versus Rain. And Apollo, it is exactly how we thought Group B would pan out so far anyway. Yeah,
for me, exactly the way, even the 2-1 with Rain and
You were
Harrison.
super proud about that one, I know.
Honestly,
I believed
he
he could take a game.
Today.
I've got every prediction
today.
right.
Yeah, all of them right.
I'm doing good, I think. Let's hope I can continue through. This one, I'm going to pick Rain again.
Okay.
This is the... I don't want to count passing out and Hero, but I would say with Hero, the highest level PvP we're going to see up there today, or across this weekend.
Potentially.
You know, Parting's very, very good, but I feel that these two up there are a level above Parting in PvP. I think CJ Hero can compete with them, but this is the highest level PvP we'll see today for sure, and over the next couple of days.
I mean, again, sorry about that. No, I was just going to say, these two, we were chatting away, the three of us were talking, and Rain was saying that Classic is the one guy he's really scared of. They were on the same team together, you know, they're just kind of talking about that, and I don't know, I think this is the one game that Rain has really prepared for.
Yeah, 3 matches between them, James, so far. 2 wins for Rain, 1 for Classic, but 2 of those matches were in Pro League, so always difficult when you have that isolated best-of-1 kind of scenario. They only played once before in a best-of-3, and that was WCS last year. And Classic, unfortunately, coming out below Rain on that one, 2-1 to Rain. But, I mean, we always talk about previous form, previous matches and stuff. We always say you can't read a huge amount into it. Sometimes it's psychological if you've won, 14 in a row or something, but there's nothing really between them. So how do you separate them?
Well, I don't think you do, really.
So we're going to give them a draw?
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Put
right.
both through.
Both through. I mean, I think that's probably how this group's going to go anyway, but whatever. To give validity to what Sean was saying, though, is that Classic, during the qualifiers for this tournament, was able to beat out Hero and Parting. So he does play on a very, very high level of Protoss versus Protoss. He eventually went out in that qualifier to actually San, who did advance through in more of a surprise than anything to a lot of people, because people, when he transitioned over to WCS, from WCS Europe, people didn't know if he was going to be able to hang with the best of them. But these are all basically the best PvPers in the world really fighting for these spots. So seeing this is going to be cool.
I'm being told that they're very impatient, and actually they've gone live, so we need to rush over to the commentators very quickly. Rain?
Ooh, I'm going to go with Classic on this one.
Okay, Classic.
2-0 Rain. Oh, sorry, I jumped in.
Rain.
All right, okay, so 2 for Rain, 1 for Classic. Let's head on over to the commentary desk then for our upper bracket final in Group B.
G'day guys, welcome back. Maynard and Todd here. We're looking forward to, as Apollo said, very aptly, probably the highest level PvP we're going to see for a while. So,
are you saying the last game wasn't a high level?
I'm saying it was very, very high level, but I'm saying that
I'm just baiting you.
Rain.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not so easy, Todd. Not so easy. You have to up your game a little bit. In the bottom left here, previously a GSL champion, can he do it? This is Classic. And in the top right here, for my insanity, this is Rain.
Rain has a winning record against Classic, but they've only met 3 times, so it's not that relevant. I really feel like Classic's PvP is very, very high up there in terms of being insane in matchup. Actually, in the very qualifier for these tournaments, he met quite a few Protosses. In the final Asian qualifier, he met Hero in the second round. That's CJ Hero we're talking about.
Yeah.
The multiple Intel Extreme Masters champion. Beat him 2-0. Later on, he lost to Innovation, but then in the loser bracket, he beat Parting, but then lost to San. And in the end, he ended up replacing Innovation, who couldn't make it. So I guess he's kind of, free rolling. He's fortunate that he's even here, but he does have that sick PvP going for him. But he's going up against the man himself, Rain, who's just ridiculous. Overall, ridiculously good.
We saw in that last game what happens when Rain gets into the mid to late game.
Yeah.
It's where he's comfortable. He will just power on and out macro you and play with Chris macro, never miss a beat, and he will slam anyone that isn't ready for it.
Classic is definitely a much cheekier Protoss than most.
Yeah.
You know, he has a few proxies up his sleeve. He's fairly aggressive overall. He likes his Blink Stalkers as well. And if he sees an opportunity, he will always go for an attack and try to end it. And he's had quite a few very good series in PvPs in the past. I remember casting him. So for Rain here, the trick is going to be basically making sure he makes it to the mid to late game, where I do think he will do better than Classic, even though Classic, you know, is really, really good at every stage of the game. He's probably more comfortable in the early game. Oh man, I could totally see that probe getting stuck in if a gateway was to be made behind.
Almost, but not quite. Now, Apollo was talking a little bit, he was talking to me about how Rain plays his PvP, and he has a special core, sort of the way he plays, where he'll go, you know, up to 2 gateways, then expand, and then, go, actually not expand at all. He'll go for 2 gateways and then go through the Twilight Council or Stargate, depending on what he sees. And we are just seeing the Twilight Council off 1 gateway here for Rain, so he's changing it up once again.
Yeah, both players with if you look at the production tab, exactly the same thing going.
Yeah.
Just the Twilight Council, 1 more Stalker, they're going to keep on gaining probes, Warp Gate about the same timing. So far it's a perfect mirror. And if they both go for Blink here, I could totally see them, you know, add 2 gateways each, then go for a Robo, scout, get a little bit of a feel of what's happening. And then from there, they don't see like their opponents being greedy, or they don't see any particular reason for them to go for an attack, I think they could both just expand. But look at this. Rain going for the Dark Shrine here.
Okay, this is very out of the ordinary for Rain. This isn't something we see him do very often at all. Blink, a lot more common. Classic I mean, you can actually die very easily to the Dark Templar, but like you said, they do generally follow it up with a Robo with those gateways, so they might be out in time. But with how early this Dark Shrine is, it makes me feel a little bit awkward for Classic here.
Yeah, it's a bit of an old school build here. DT expand here out of Rain, and keep in mind these two have a lot of, I guess, old games and history together, because they used to be on the same team, and I'm pretty sure they practiced stones together.
Recall.
No, not before he kills the probe, man.
Yeah, gotta make it worth it. He does get 1.
Starts Blinks anyway here. And I don't think Classic has scouted much at all this game. He has a probe around the middle of the map here.
He's been on the outside of Raintown, but hasn't actually gone deep yet, hasn't had a look.
This is actually a little bit over-eager here by Rain to get a proxy pylon this close, but only 1 Stalker, now 3. He should be able to warp in DTs before. This pylon's gonna line up very well with when the Dark Shrine finishes. He's not warping in.
Oh, I think that's a little bit late. Does get cancelled by the pylon dying there.
Rain, by the way, he made his gateways pretty late because he made the Nexus instead before, so 2 of his gateways are not done yet. Now, he's gonna have to re-warp that DT at 1 pylon that he made on the right-hand side, but there's still no Robo yet.
Classic just dropped it then, as we were saying. The Robo is going down, not going to be an observer for a while, so this DT will actually be able to do damage on these Stalkers as he goes along, and will eventually be able to eat through, but there is a sentry there with a force field.
Yeah, he's gonna force a lot of force fields actually.
And here's the DT. Classic knows what's up. He's already blocked the ramp. Then there's the force fields going down, and the Blink to save the Stalker. Nice little move there from Classic.
If he could force Classic to make a lot more sentries, that's completely going to wreck his gas economy here. You don't want to be spending all your gas in sentries in a game like this, and Classic right now is up to 3. He might have to get even 1 more behind this. He's trying to wait until the last second before he uses that force field. And behind this, I mean, Rain, he has his X-Men up and running. He's going to be able to start transferring probes. He's going to pull back with the DT, knowing that there could be an observer on their way. Very nicely done already in this game so far, out of Rain, even though he's behind in supply.
Yeah, he's a little bit down, so he's taken a bit of a hit from pushing so much gas so quickly and investing into that DT. But like you said, Classic also had to make a lot of sentries. That's a lot of gas as well. But so both players really reasonably even at this part of the game, not really taking too much damage on either side. Forge going down here for Classic, so he's looking to get into that mid game.
Yeah, both players in expand versus expand situation should be getting a Forge momentarily. Classic already started his.
Yeah, Rain's getting his now.
Rain's gonna take the gases on his natural earlier, though. And from this point on, it's all about choosing a tech path. Usually Robo Bay or Twilight is what you wanna go for, but sometimes, you know, they both get the same. Sometimes a player is gonna wait until he sees what the opponent goes for, but Rain, no. He wants to go for the Robo Bay no matter what. He's gonna get some Immortals at the same time. Classic, though, do you think Classic might opt to go for the Twilight Council here? Oh, knowing he's up against somebody who already...
He has the Twilight Council because he has Blink.
Yeah, but by that I mean Charge Lot and Templar Archive, Twilight Council routes instead of Robo Bay. Usually there is this kind of unwritten rule or like transition that's standard for Koreans, which is when you have Blink and your opponent has Blink, you go for Robo and Colossus. I used to see that a lot, especially out of those Korean Protoss players, but you never know. In a game like this, he might choose to go for something like Charge. Classic actually versus Terran, he has this one build where he went a lot, even though it wasn't supposed to be that viable before, he went for Charge Lot Templar and did a timing with the War Prism, which now here up against Rain, who he might think or might know would like to go into Colossus, that could do some damage, even maybe win the game, if he executed it well.
Yeah, well, it's up to him. I mean, if he has that power, this definitely wants to do some damage before Rain gets into that Colossus count, which he will obviously have a
so what's your
superior
call?
number of.
Robo Bay or Charge Templar?
I'm feeling Robo Bay from Classic. I think he's been pretty mirrored with the decisions from Rain apart from the Dark Templar, but yeah.
And you pass.
I pass.
Congratulations.
PvP analysis, mate. It's easy.
Better than Kairos.
Easy.
He's gonna get rusted.
Oh, he gets such a bad rap.
You're great at PvP, Kairos, don't worry.
You're number one, Claris.
Number one. Okay, both players gonna try and scout as much as possible from here with the hallucinations. You know, Classic, having to invest so much into the sentries early on, it was bad, like, you don't like to do that, but he survived, and now he's gonna have so much sentries and hallucinations that he's actually gonna be able to scout the entire map the whole time.
And there were some extra gateways they wanted to put down with those three as well, but looks like after he saw the Hallucinated Phoenix, he decided not to. Second Hallucinated Phoenix coming in.
Okay, let's do another test. Are they gonna go for a third base?
Let's see, they both have Blink. They're both going for Colossus. I'm going to say no.
No?
Yes.
Wrong. I'm pretty sure both of them should expand from here one more time. You see, like, they've got the ideal probe count on each base to go for another base without necessarily dying if they were to be attacked. And they have so much scouting capability that any kind of attack will be spotted early on enough that they will be able to get enough units anyway. So Classic is actually... Oh, look at the production tab. Classic with the second Robo against his target. So Rain is going to be the one attempting to go for Tempest here, I think.
Yeah, but he already started making Colossus before Classic, so he's going to have a Colossus count advantage as well.
Yeah, but there is going to be that one short and slim, you know, tiny timing during which Classic will have more Colossi due to his double Colossi production, with which he can attack and try to basically do damage and end it before there is too many Tempests to counter his own Colossi. And remember, since he has so many sentries, there should be no way for him not to be able to see that Stargate in the transition.
Actually, Classic is making 2 Colossus at a time. He has a second Robo there, so no wonder that third income is definitely going to help a lot. So that count will actually dwarf Rain really quickly, but with the Tempest can definitely even things up.
Usually, if you allow a Protoss to get, say, 3 Tempests out and you're on double Robo Colossi, you should lose almost every single time, because those Tempests, they're going to carry the Colossi from far away. And Rain is actually the one attacking into Classic here. Maybe, I guess, just before Classic starts completely taking off in terms of Colossi count. Okay, no, this is just a fake. There's just too much here, so Rain's going to have to head on home, and he's actually behind in supply now. He gets a War Prism, probably to try and buy himself some time with a Zealot drop here and there, do some damage, while he tries and transition to Tempest. And no second target, I think, yet, which is definitely a mistake. Okay, here we go. Great Might thinks alike.
Second Stargate going down there. The Tempests, he really needs them, because there is actually a counter push here from Classic to put some pressure on. Probably got his target set on that third to try and get that lead in Econ. Do some damage without losing a little bit too much. Good thing about Colossus is with the Thermal Lance, they can do that pretty easily. And a War Prism also be made for Rain.
And Classic is... he's actually not afraid at all to go into a longer game against Rain by look of things. Base trade!
Well, there's going to be something a little bit awkward happening here as Classic moves up towards Rain's third. Rain moving towards Classic's third. Both players have the decision whether to recall or not. War Prism being caught by Blink Stalkers, and down it goes. Rain knows the army of Classic is up there.
Is anybody going to recall?
Who recall? Are they just going to lose their thirds and then just call it a day?
Yeah, I think, Classic, I think, will recall, and that's going to force a recall out of Rain. But I think the situation is better for Rain. That means he's going to get Tempest here no matter what.
Yeah, he is indeed.
Oh, actually, no.
Oh, wow. Classic's pushing the issue here.
I think he realized he has more army. He might have noticed the Tempest as well.
Oh, he's blinking on the Tempest. The Tempest are going down. Rain's Nexus in a lot of trouble here. He's bringing some Colossus in from the main. But the Nexus is gone. He's down to 1 base, and then a recall from Classic, and his Natural's still alive.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty big deal. Like, Classic was already ahead in supply. Now he's going to pull even more ahead, having 1 more Nexus mining. The thing is, even though like that was good for Classic, there's still Tempest that he's gonna have to deal with somehow. So look, he goes into charge, he adds a Templar Archive, he's gonna get so many charged out and Archons on the ground that even if his Colossus die, they will deal the damage that they have to deal before, supposedly. I think Rain is looking to maybe try and do one more attack here, snipe a Nexus and then recall, ideally. But Classic should be careful enough for that not to happen, and he hasn't even restarted his third Nexus yet.
And not just yet. Doesn't really have the minerals to do so, but he's gearing up to it. No doubt he wants that third pretty quickly, but because he's got a lot that he needs to pay for. He's got that Templar Archives down. He needs to get those upgrades, which cost quite a lot.
Gotta pay the bills, man.
You gotta pay the bills. Need that third Nexus to pay him. Rain coming in again, and he's gonna actually probably force a cancel here.
Yeah, which is nice, but I mean, doesn't really matter that much. That just started. Actually, Rain needs to be careful here. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
might be going deep here for a. Well, that's definitely a donation. Oh, okay.
Too fast, man.
Sneaks away. Too fast, too furious.
Okay, might need to recall here soon. Actually, oh, Stalkers looking to maybe blink and snipe that. No, Rain's gonna recall on time. In the main, even.
Very dangerous.
3 Tempest out, 5 Tempests, one shot.
With a lot of probes here. Actually.
Yeah, 5 Tempests, one shot a Colossus. There is so many of those out on the map. If he can get 5 Tempests and kill those Colossi from afar, so Rain might still have a chance in this game, even though he's quite far behind in supply. He needs to restart his third base, though. I really think that's going for a 2 base here, even with 5 Tempests. I don't think it will be that good.
Yeah. Well, obviously they're incredible against Colossus, and that's the whole idea behind the Tempest. But so he kind of has like the composition advantage, but. Classic can just overwhelm with numbers if he keeps that third up for a little bit longer.
I think Rain is going to want to look to explode the terrain of the map.
Now.
You know, there's a lot of positions on which you can basically stand with the terrain. Like this, just like this. Like the Vikings would stand there to snipe Colossus. It's the same thing in PvP.
Yeah,
I would like to see an Oracle, actually, to give vision from afar. And then you need to make sure that you kill as many of these Colossi as possible before the fight even begins on the ground. And then if you have Colossus yourself and your opponent doesn't, you're going to be in great shape to win the ground fight, which is how you win games, basically.
That's right. Both players with equal upgrades there, except Charge has gone down for Rain. Sorry, for Classic. Rain's still getting it.
Warpism finally going to hit here. No units in just yet. Classic is actually quite far in the middle of the map. Yeah, it's rolling back right now. This shouldn't do much.
Well, some Zealots have been warped in the main here, and I mean, Classic can probably deal with this pretty handily here, but he hasn't just yet.
Oh, there was a DT, I guess.
Yeah. A DT only getting 1 kill before leaving. Oh, and the Warp Prism dies as well. The really nice pickup for Classic. Doesn't have to worry about that anymore.
Wow, those guys are a long way from home. Usually you stop at 5 Tempest no matter what, unless your opponent is getting Tempest himself. It's always wrong to get more than 5. Sometimes even 3 is enough, but now, since he's up against 7 Colossus, it will be right to go up to 5, but he's stopping at 4, which worries me a little bit. 5 is definitely better than 4, Maynard.
Yeah, it is at least 1 more than 4. You're absolutely right. We got a big push through the middle here by Classic. It's a very scary army, very heavy hitting army. A lot of Immortals, plenty of Colossus and Archons as well.
Yeah.
And dropping in the main at the same time. Nice little move here.
It's going to warp in additional Zealots and hope that maybe Rain doesn't split too well. Maybe attack in another place. No, actually, Classic starts a gold base.
Okay. So Classic taking a little bit more time before pushing out with the meat and potatoes of his army.
Meat potatoes. Why is he not warping in DTs to defend? Did he forget he has a Dark Shrine?
There he goes. Warps in a couple DTs now to defend.
Of course he didn't. It's Rain.
It's all on purpose, mate. He never makes a mistake.
Okay, those Tempests, as I say, they need to kill as much as possible.
And they're targeting hallucinations. 1 Tempest in trouble here from Blink. He's within range.
Oh, he's going to snipe the Nexus and then recall.
He does get the Nexus. Down it goes. And where's that recall from Classic?
Actually, he might just fight head-on here.
He does have the Colossus count. Actually, he doesn't.
It's very hard to chase here for Rain, because that means he would have had to fight on the ground. So many probes are dying in the natural.
He's just hold position the Zealots.
And he lost one of the Tempests, so he has to remake 1 more. Plus 1 more to get the 5 that he wants.
Oh my god, 18 probes dying here. Classic in a brilliant spot right now. I mean, sure, there's Tempest on the field, but...
Against a gold base.
Yeah, Classic has a gold base 4th. Rain is knocked down to 2 Nexus, and he's lost 18 probes. He's in a horrible spot.
Rain, even though he lost a lot of his economy here, he still preserved his Colossi counts. He's gonna get 5 Tempests, which are gonna deal very well against the Colossi of his opponents. And Classic, he doesn't look like he wants to transition at all. He's not going into Tempest himself. He's just keeping his Colossi counts for now, not adding any more, I think. and he's getting a lot of units on the ground, I guess, to tank for them and completely outproduce his opponent. He's going to need a very good position to fight in if he wants to win this.
+3 on the way is going to make things even easier for Classic as time goes along. Rain can't really afford upgrades right now. He's very, very broke. He's almost got no money whatsoever.
Army supply, 128 to 112, but so yeah, the Tempest should deal very well.
Yeah, the Tempest is going to help out a lot, but Classic's already on the low ground, ready to engage here. The Tempests have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The Stalkers are underneath, the Archons are underneath, the Colossus coming around from the side.
So good for Classic.
And Classic just pulls off a great engagement here. He's pushing Rain all the way back. And this is probably going to be GG once he cleans up the Colossus as well. Rain's Archons, Classic's Archons pushing Rain apart and just tearing him to pieces. GG and well played.
This is the difficult part when you play this kind of Tempest build. You can't really move out in the middle of the map like this because otherwise the opponent doesn't give you time to snipe his Colossus. He just engages into you and doesn't let you escape. And in this case, he had enough Blink Stalkers and Archons to just kill those Tempests right out, and then Rain, out of patience, out of, I guess, income, had to attack and didn't have enough.
Good composition, didn't have enough. But anyway, before we get into game number 2, we're just going to take a short break, guys, so bear with us, and we'll see you very soon. G'day guys, welcome back. It is IEM Taipei here with Classic versus Rain. Game number 2. Just
apparently there is only one fool here, and that's me for not putting any faith in Classic's macro game.
Well, he can certainly do the macro game, but that said though, his macro game got up so high because of the harassment he managed to do and because of the econ damage that he did that whole game.
Yeah, that was a very interesting game, especially the fact that Rain went into Tempest like this. Like, I find super interesting. To me, it doesn't really strike me like that kind of guy who would try for like a Tempest build like this. And he didn't seem to have too much experience with it. Like, I really think like he could have done a lot better with it, especially with that attack around the third base. Like when Classic moved in that position, if Rain had already been starting to shoot at this Colossi from afar, I think he would have done a lot better than he did now. But now he kind of felt like he got surprised by that attack somehow, which shouldn't really happen. But
yeah, I was kind of only. I'm pretty sure that he lost like a warp prism down there, so we knew that army was there.
Yeah.
Like,
but maybe he thought that Classic wasn't going to attack yet, or maybe he was a little bit too scared and shy. You know, even against Stern actually on this map, if you stand too far back from your Nexus and then you get engaged into it, a lot of the time, even if you end up holding, you're going to have taken so much economic damage that it's not going to matter anyway. So you can always place yourself better no matter what. Maybe like, you know, with a big concave and with Colossus. But anyway, let's jump into the second game with Catalina.
It'd be my pleasure, Todd. And I'm going to introduce these players. In the bottom left here, from SKT1, this is Classic. And in the bottom right on Catalina, currently down one map, this is Rain. From my Insanity.
Classic on this map, could definitely see him doing something like a Stargate, you know, to blink. Definitely one of the good builds that you can do on this map. And Harstem won against Jack here, so he's playing pretty well. He gave Rain a run for his money and then won against Jack. That means he's gonna have maybe a chance at a rematch against Rain, or a chance at maybe beating Classic to move on to the next round.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. I actually really want to see Harstem versus Classic because we've seen Harstem versus Rain. We know how those games kind of look.
Yeah, but it was amazing at the same time.
It was amazing. I was watching it from the analysis test. It was good. We're very blessed here at Intel Extreme Masters to have your Protoss knowledge for this group.
Thank you. Who do you think Karsten wants to play?
I think Karsten wants to play Rain again. I think he wants to show the world that he can beat him.
Nope. He tweeted that he wants to play Classic.
I didn't see that. Once a piece. Once a piece.
Then again, I mean, after seeing this game, like this first game from Classic versus Rain, Classic's pretty damn good in PvP.
Well, if it's someone that Rain's scared of, then I can't believe Harston wants a piece of this guy.
Yeah. I remember actually at BlizzCon, Artosis was rating Classic's PvP very, very high. I think he was saying like Heroes first PvP or something, and then Classic maybe second or third.
Yeah, well,
Classic totally wrong.
Classic made it to the round of 4 of BlizzCon. Like it's pretty, it's a pretty impressive feat.
Artosis praise, not always a blessing.
Not always.
Definitely one thing to take in consideration, though.
He was pretty on point last night in GSL, I gotta say though, calling out Dark to get out group. I think that was a pretty safe bet.
Everybody's riding the Dark hype train.
Yeah, but isn't his complete conviction meant to curse him completely?
Yeah, but come on.
Yeah, but come on. Okay.
The hype train kind of counteracts the Artosis curse sometimes. Maybe.
Yeah. I was really happy to see Anime get through. And kind of surprised, but also happy.
Both players scouting the wrong way with a little bit of an earlier scout here for Rain, and so far a perfect mirror in terms of basically everything that they've done. Just a single gateway for each player.
Yeah, I mean, you know, no craziness, obviously. Both players getting their Cybercore, no weird pylon placements. Although Classics is pretty far back here in the back of his main.
Rain had a bit more gas. Leading up to his cybernetics core finishing, and that's what made me think he might go Stargate. And look at this, here it is, Stargate already, and very fast. That's a fast target. When you start Stargate before Mothership Core, that's a very fast target. And in this case, he's even going to be able to deny the scout from Classic, which is very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mothership Core can actually head down to that ramp and just kill it completely. And with this Stargate position, it should be a done deal. In fact, Classic's not even scouting Rain. He's gone home with his probe.
When you open Stargates like this as Rain, as a fast target, what are you most scared of, Maynard?
Oracle.
No, you're most scared of your opponent going Stargate as well and out-phoenixing you. And because then you're in so much trouble. But in this case, having a probe across the map and being able to clear the entire main of Classic, Rain knows that he's going to be in a great shape. No matter where he gets out of the Stargate, which in this case is going to be an Oracle, he knows that this is going to go into contested. There's not going to be a Phoenix to counter that. So at most, there will be Stalkers and a Mothership Core. But even against that, he can go in, force a Photon Overcharge, get out, keep his Oracle alive, and just be in a good shape, just have a lot of initiative. Now, the follow-up for Rain is going to be very important. And I think a Twilight Council and Blink behind this will be a great follow-up.
Yeah, with the 3 gateways here, he can apply some pressure after holding that Oracle. He should be okay with a Stalker count. Twilight Council going down for Rain as well back at home.
Yes, so he's gonna do the build. I really like this build on this map. I really, really like it. You know, first, the Korean player who played in Europe for a long time is a big fan of it as well, and he's given me a few ass whooping with it. That's why I like this build.
So Classic completely aware of this. Oracle actually saw it with the probe. And here he comes, the Photon Overcharge down, and that Oracle is completely denied, but not killed at least.
Last shot almost went through here.
Almost. Classic coming in for a look. Sees no super greed here from Rain, but I wouldn't expect it after seeing such a fast Oracle.
The probe's going to be found, but there's already a pylon now on the map, which was not spotted, barely gets missed here.
Yeah, it does miss it. And there's 3 gateways with Blink here, so this is going to be a reasonable follow-up. Oh, he's getting a couple sentries.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Especially with Blink being so far, so close to be finishing.
No, he's going to expand instead.
Yeah, those sentries means that Classic is going to expand as well. But I'm a little bit surprised. Usually in this situation, one of the good things that you can do is get more Stalkers and then, you know, poke at the front, try to get a cancel on your opponent's expansion, try to snipe a few probes or units here and there, and at the same time get your own expansion up. But Classic's basically saying with this that he wants to have Hallucination to scout with, and he's gonna make just enough Stalkers to counter the Oracle or possible air units. So that will mean maybe he's even just gonna stay on 3, maybe go up to 5, but probably no more than that if he wants to transition into anything else.
It's an interesting decision here from Rain to drop an Envision there on everything in the main there from Classic. Well, at least on half of it.
Getting too many Stalkers here could be counterproductive if he was facing a Robo transition. But I guess since he's Stalker against Stalker, you can still go up to a higher number of Stalkers, you know, to try and basically have a few more than your opponents and have more initiative. The thing is, if you're the defender, you're gonna be ahead in economy, especially in terms of gas, if you're not spending, you know, all that gas into having more stalkers than your opponent. And being at home, you know, having the photon overcharge and the Guardian Shield usually goes a long way to help.
So Classic's confirmed the Nexus here and that that it's already finished and that there's probes at it, so he knows what he's up against from Rain. He also probably saw the end of those Stalkers move out as well.
Wow, Rain's moving out and wants to go for an attack by the look of things.
He does. He's got Blink, he's got a fair few Stalkers.
He has 11 Stalkers.
Yeah.
Against just 7. 7-11.
7-11.
This keeps happening.
It's like casting with Red Eye. Here we go, blinking up into the main. Getting himself a stalk, getting himself a pylon there. Photon overcharge has gone down, so the Stalkers actually need to leave.
Being supply blocked is a big deal here. Classic needs way more units than he has to defend. 7 against 13, and that's 13 Stalkers plus an Oracle, which is gonna send around and probably send into the main as the Photon overcharge ends in the main. Rain somehow, this attack is not supposed to work, but Classic really wasn't prepared.
He wasn't at all. He had to pull all his probes, and he's lost 8 already in this attack, and he doesn't have the Stalker count to back it up either. The probes really didn't help that much. The Mothership Core of Rain helping out a ton as well, and he can just keep pressing on Classic here. Classic's in so much trouble. The Blinks from Rain, there's too many Stalkers. GG. Rain ties the series 1 apiece.
Wow. This really feels like they have history together, and they've been in that situation before.
Well, the teammates.
Yeah, they used to be teammates, so they must have played a ton of games together. And in this situation, what happens is that, as Classic here, like I said, if you make a lot of Stalkers and your opponent's not aggressive, you get far behind because you invested money into something that you're not using really for anything, and that later on in dead ball versus dead ball situation, or like big armies, is not useful at all. So Classic, it kind of feels like he wanted to be greedy to surprise Rain. A Rain who usually doesn't attack, doesn't all-in, doesn't do 2 base all-ins like this. So he was like, I'm just gonna go get ahead in economy, since you're not gonna attack, and then I'm gonna be in a good situation. But Rain somehow surprises with the timing and kills Classic. I thought this was gonna be a 2-0, man.
He even surprised us.
Yeah.
It was just that all of a sudden he had 4 more Stalkers than his opponent, and now he proxy pylon, warped in and killed him. Simple as that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Great mathematics. Man.
It's like saying that 5's better than 4. Pretty good maths.
Okay, do you want to play it like this? Let's jump into the next game and see what happens.
Someone has to take this camera off of us. Need to throw it down over here. Deadwing's going to be the next map?
Yes, oh man, I'm already thinking about all the possibilities here. Deadwing, Stargates. Are we going to see some Stargates? I'm already starting to picture the Stargates that are possible here. Blink also very popular, no matter what the map is. Expanding, definitely good. Be it with a second base or an earlier third base. Look at this guy, they're so handsome.
Yeah, the chin is powerful here from Classic.
That's Red's line, man.
Sorry. Top right here. From SKT1. This is Classic. Got himself that first game. And then the bottom right here. Pretty sick Stalker blink attack timing. This is Rain.
Rain, who surprised Classic definitely in the previous game. I'm pretty sure Classic didn't see that move out, and then was very, very surprised to see that many Blink Stalkers basically at his front step, just knocking and getting ready to kill. Actually, on that very map, on Catalina, Classic versus Hero at BlizzCon, the final map, that was the final map. Hero tried to break Classic with a lot of Blink Stalkers, and Classic barely held up the ramp and ended up winning. So definitely some mind games happened here, and some metagame was involved with what we just saw in the previous game.
Saw a very fast gateway there from Classic. That was on 11.
So, Stargate.
You called it, man. Stargate probably on the way here from Classic.
But Gateway 11 means a lot of the time that it's going to be a Stargate, but it can be an in-base Stargate as a fast Stargate, which usually... Actually, I was going to say it's for Phoenixes, but I guess with an Oracle can be okay as well. But it's also good with an Oracle, but proxied more often than not, which is what Harstem went for against Rain on this map. So by the look of things, Classic, I was going to say he's going to do it in his base, but he's not getting a second gas. Is he going to maybe Zealot, Stalker, Mothership, or Rush? It's going to be scouted early on here.
Yeah, I mean, Rain isn't going to be counted, but there's nothing he can do about his probe. He's going to get up in here and have a complete look, so...
What was Classic planning here?
I'm not too sure. Time will tell as the game goes on. Rain getting in and having a look, sees exactly
I'm sure it will, Maynard. I'm sure it will. Second gas goes down. I was starting to think about Classic maybe wanting to go for a one gas Nexus. You know, you get like a Mothership core after, and like the versus turn build that used to be so popular. But I guess since he went for such a quick gateway, it doesn't really make sense. Maybe he didn't anticipate that Rain would go for a scout here once again. He was like, well, he did it against that European guy who cheesed him in the previous game. He's not gonna do it against me. Wrong. Went for it.
That's right. Actually, back to the, I couldn't imagine how close that game was, man. Like, well, I mean, it looked like Hearthstone had already won it, but Rain held on for so long and actually made a fight out of it. Any other Protoss would be a dead man.
Rain is a based god, man.
He is a based god. Roddy's love is well and truly well placed.
His love for me too.
I don't know if you can measure up to Rain with Roddy's love though. Maybe.
Yeah, not in StarCraft skills. Certainly not. Sentry behind the initial Stalker here for Classic. I'm really curious, like, is this gonna be a Nexus behind a Stalker and a Sentry?
Well, Sentries generally mean that you want to expand here.
Yeah.
So Rain getting that Stargate at the very, very, very back of his main. And at this time, do you think this is going to be an Oracle Stargate or a Phoenix Stargate?
I think Phoenix, because Rain, I think here went for the Stargate because he thought that Classic might go for a Stargate with the build that he has scouted. You know, the quick gateway and the double gas. Even though the second gas was late, there is actually a lot of mind games around that. Once upon a time, opening with 2 very quick gas wasn't particularly the standard. And people who delayed their second gas a lot, they went for that mind game of, he's never gonna think that I'm gonna have enough gas to go for DTs. So that's also one of the possibilities here. So Classic actually goes for a Robo, which against a Stargate is not that good, I'm not gonna lie. And it's an Oracle here for Rain.
Oh, wow, okay. Also, Rain dropped an extra couple gateways behind us as well, going up to 3 in total.
Do you think...
With the Twilight Council, so a Blink follow-up probably.
But he has a probe hidden on the map. Do you think he's gonna be Oracle into DTs this time? Is Rain really this...
Oh,
yes!
He is
He's
gonna drop
cheeky.
He is very cheeky. He's gonna put himself a Dark Shrine up in the top left of the map here. Pretty much guaranteed the Classic's not gonna see that. Hallucinates an Oracle to get into the main and try and, you know, force a reaction out of Rain, but he's already in position with a couple Stalkers to see what's up. But he will actually cross this Oracle.
Rain, though, going for the Oracle or just target in general against Robo is great. But going for DTs against a Robo is not that great. The thing is,
yeah, this is almost
Classic's getting an Immortal. I wonder, does Classic even cancel that Immortal? Does he get an Observer at all? Now realizing that he's up against a Stargate?
Oracle coming through.
I think he lets the Immortal finish no matter what. He doesn't have to cancel it.
Yeah, I think he can still get an Observer out in time pretty easily.
Revelation's going to be used. Is
Yeah.
an Observer going to be queued? But Pylon actually is probably going to go down here very soon.
Yeah, you can warp across there. Pylon going
Observer is
down.
being made. He might send that across the map though. But
Yeah,
I guess he
very
won't
true.
because he has hallucination available. So this DT build here, really not putting Rain in the best of spots.
No, I mean it's a real buildable disadvantage. I mean, with the Robo already being down before you even drop your Dark Shrine, it's not the place you want to be then.
I really like what he's doing though. Even though there's going to be at least 1, maybe even 2 at some point Photon Overcharge available, Rain's getting a second Oracle, maybe to try and send them in both phases, the same time as he sends the DT into the natural. It's like the ultimate harassment / mind game. You know what would have been even more ultimate?
Second Observer.
If he had a Robo, dropped a DT in the main, sent a DT in the natural, and sent an Oracle. Oracle plus DT in both base. I'm pretty sure.
Well, here
Classic
comes
said.
the Oracle of Rain that takes a lot of damage here. Gets shooed away.
Yeah, 2 DTs
Now,
are on their way.
They are, but a second Observer is on the way as well, and it's
Yeah.
going to come past these DTs.
But if he splits them in between across both bases, this could do a ton of damage because the Observer is going to have to follow the first DT, so that means the second one is going to get inside of the natural of Classic ideally and starts hacking at those probes.
The second DT is a little bit later here. The Oracle coming in to help out his DT brethren. He is a little bit low. The second DT heading into the natural, and there's nothing down here for him.
Oh, he might try to get the sentries. Those are very important sentries here. They are the scouting capability of Classic with the hallucination.
And he takes some very high sentries down here. It's very high energy sentries down here. And coming back and forth with this Oracle being very annoying for Classic to have to defend on both fronts here. But he is doing a good job of it. He hasn't lost heaps.
Look at the walk count now, 40 to 40.
Yeah.
Rain really doesn't mind all that happened here. The trade was cost effective for him.
One more shot and that Oracle would have been a goner.
The one in the main, trying to get some snipes here.
Gets a few kills.
Oh,
Does pay the price though.
Taken down here. I wonder, actually, Classic, he should be able to scout the entire main and natural of his opponent. He's probably going to realize that there was a Dark Shrine proxy. Looking for the Dark Shrine and sniping it can be really nice. Because then you basically kill a very important building of your opponent, and later on, when you go for possibly, you know, either your own charge loads drops with a Warp Prism or Dark Templar drop, your opponent cannot warp in defensive Dark Templars.
Very, very true. Forge going down here for Classic as he gets his Robotics Bay as well, so he's gearing up for that mid game. Or in the late game even. Twilight Council halfway done as well. Charge on the way for Rain, so he's going to go for that composition we were talking about earlier. For the
you
charge
think Storm or no Storm? Because he's going to go for Templar Archive for sure.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean...
Yes or no?
Does he? I don't think Storm. I don't think Storm.
Okay.
I think just charge on Icon.
I disagree.
You disagree?
It's Rain, man. Of course he has to go for Storm. He has to inspire generations of Protosses. 15-year-old children watching this game right now. They want to know what build they're going to use on the ladder to pummel some noobs.
Well, Harstem's already shown us the light. Storm drop's pretty good. Didn't end up working out for him against Rain, though.
Doesn't always win, but it's definitely very good in the right hands. So not mine.
War Prism of Rain hitting across the map.
Robo Bay.
Yeah, okay.
For Rain, even though he gets charged, he still gets the Robo Bay. Probably realized that if he had to go for a Templar Archive, it will be inside of his main, and it will be spotted anyway, in which case it's very weak. Like, because the earlier your opponent can start preparing for it, the worse it is. And also, very nice wall off by Classic. That is natural. He probably realized that there was a lot of gateways, that it was probably going to be charge lots and Archons, and he's like, no, I don't think so.
Oracle comes back, and he's probably going to be shoot away here pretty easily. Does get at least one probe kill, so that's nice. Any little bit he can do is nice here. But he also has a loaded up Warp Prism that's going to go into the main pretty shortly as well. Just scouting ahead with an Hallucinated Phoenix before committing too much to it.
So funny, Rain is moving out with like 3 Zealots, 2 Stalkers, and 2 Sentries. It's like the saddest move outs with few units.
Following things up with an Immortal and a few Zealots in the back there, and here comes that drop into the main. See how much this gets done. There is already a cannon position.
You know, Classic being so far ahead in terms of Colossus counts, and being forced to stay on 2 bases because he's scared of some kind of attack, which is actually moving up right now. He needs to be careful. I guess he knows that Rain doesn't have that much. This might actually encourage Classic to go for a 2 base here, because he's going to have way more Colossus. He's going to start getting his own Templar and charge loss at the front. And nice drop here in the main. Oh, the Dark Templar.
With the Dark Templar as well. The cannon goes down. Detection is gone away.
Where is Classic going?
He's going to lose a Colossus in a minute if he's not careful.
Oh, he's what? He just moved all the way down there to snipe single pylon?
With his entire army, in fact. That 1 DT still causing him a spot of bother. Heads back into the main. There's no cannon to worry about, so he's denying a lot of mining time here from this main.
What a boss that DT was. 47 walkers to 45 here, Classic's favor. And Templar Archive is now going to go down for Rain. He's got +2, about to finish against a Classic who never started it, so that's definitely was something he has for him. Being up 1 attack upgrade in PvP can mean a lot, but much earlier third for Classic here.
Yeah, indeed. So the longer the game goes, better for his Classic, but Rain's going to look to put some hurt on, especially if he gets Storm with that Templar Archives. Probably going to go for some sort of drop.
By the way, Rain's SimCity in the main is quite beautiful, I have to say. Just cannon walled off.
Rain gets a third as well.
You know, Classic taking that 3rd base in terms of minerals is not that important, but if he was to take those 2 gases now, he's going to have so much more gas, which is going to translate in having a nice Archon lead, which, I mean, in PvP goes a long way, you know, to help winning the fights.
That's right. Both players being pretty active with the Hallucinated Phoenixes, just keeping a good eye on each other.
Classic is actually cutting Colossus production here. Maybe a little bit afraid there could be some kind of Tempest transition. He's starting Immortal production instead. Interesting. So if Rain's able to realize that it's happening, he could exploit that just by basically completely outproducing Classic in terms of Colossi, and then going for a favorable fight with a good concave. But no, Classic resumes Colossus production with a 4th one on the way now.
He's getting superior upgrades as well, so they're starting to come out of that forge. And it looks like he's loaded up a War Prism in the middle here, going to go for a drop while pressuring a little bit with his army. Rain's army not as impressive as Classic's at the moment. Oh, Oracle still, this Oracle's been around the whole game.
Yeah, does this guy ever die?
No, it's just the...
He's like Rain. It's Rain himself piloting that guy.
Well, technically it is. We got another Hallucinated Phoenix and just keeps consistently scouting his opponent here over and over again. And Classic's been very, very passive here. He's just building things up, powering up those upgrades, just getting his army as big and meaty as possible.
Both players actually very apprehensive of a potential big fight happening here. Look, No pro production from either players. 48 to 52.
Yeah, they're
only making units, knowing that the clash is happening soon and it is inevitable.
Indeed, Classic taking up the middle of the map here, and he's loading up his own Warp Prism, but Reigns, as we can see on the map, is already in front of us, dropping into the mineral line here.
Unit composition here, 4 Colossi for Classic, 3 for Rain, who's actually no, he's not. Okay, no, he's just got a 4th one himself, so he's matching that number. 2 Immortals for each.
Account.
Man, it's exactly the same in terms of unit composition. A few more Stalkers for Classic, which really shouldn't help with this. 22 Zealots to 26. The armies are so close.
Reigns setting up a concave here. He's going to that nice time warp there, right on the army. And Reigns coming in from his third base and from the natural as well. He's going to surround here. The Archon's doing damage. The army supply is very even here for both players. Classic starting to dip a bit as he gets pushed back by Rain. The Colossus at the front dying. A reinforcement of Zealots handling the Archons on the side there. And they're just pushing and killing the Archons, but Rain has too much. Is he going to pressure? He's going to pressure Classic back here.
Yeah, Rain's gonna hold for now, and Classic's gonna pull back before losing any more of his units. He preserves 3 of his Colossi, but now he's up against 5 Maynards, and they both thought one more. Rain, he had never started +3. Classic's, funnily enough, even though he's behind, he's the one that starts +3 before Classic does. And they start, I guess, especially in Classic, he's restarted pro production like a madman. Rain seems to think that there's gonna be a follow-up attack all in here. Out of Classic, but Classic is actually, he wants to macro. He's gonna take the gases at his third base, restarts Mothership Core. Rain needs to realize that soon and start making probes himself and match the numbers of Classic and maybe take the gases on the third base as well. Right now he's not.
His army is out of position here, right? It's gonna be a big Zealot drop in the main as he comes down. There's 2 cannons, but I don't think that's enough.
They're gonna help, but he needs to warp in units. Rain finally realized what's happening. Oh, he's gonna get the Warp Prism.
Oh, actually, damn, losing that Warp Prism is a bit of a shame here.
Rain, he saw that Classic went back into macro mode and made probes and took gases, so he's gonna go for the attack himself now. And there's no photon overcharge. Having way more Colossus, he's gonna use them to cat from far away here. Try and do some damage, some free damage, without taking any on his own.
Yeah, these 5 Colossus, there's nothing that Classic can do about this. Actually, 6 Colossus now. Nothing that Classic can do about it for the time being with his Colossus count. He's just taking it easy. +3 about to finish for him. Yes, not done quite yet. Already done for Rain. Here. He did some DTs going into the Colossus count. He's going to target down the Colossus and kill as many as possible. And he already has the Colossus lead. This could be great for Rain. Classic Zealous being warped in. A big concave from Classic.
God. Both of Classic's observers are across the map. And somehow Rain noticed.
Oh my god. And the DTs have clinched this. He's traded so great here. And Rain's got himself a 2-1 victory over Classic. Well played by the My Insanity Protoss.
How did he see that there was no observer here? I guess he must have sent his own observer above the army of Classic and saw that he just wasn't getting killed. There was no cannon on the third base. He's like, I can just swap in few DTs here and just cut your army in pieces. He does just that and wins the game right out. I mean, he might have won anyway, either way, with the superior Colossus count that he had, but it was such a brilliant move regardless.
Yeah, so nice. I mean, Rain's looking like a champion right now. He really, really looks hard to stop. I'd be interested to see, now that he's in the round of 8, how he does against who's up there. So, I mean, he's already got Hero to worry about. Only Hero
was able to stop that man in San Jose.
That's right. Came 2nd place, and I'm sure he wants the 1st place here in Taipei. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that best of 3. We're going to cross over to the analysis desk, and with an interview with our, well, no interview, actually. We're just going to cross over to the analysis desk. See you there.
Thank you very much, Maynard. Yes, no interview from Rain. We heard from him earlier on anyway. But yes, back at the desk with the lady and gentleman. And Kalaris as well. And just thought we'd wrap up that game. What do you make of it, Sean?
Very close throughout the entire of the series, and Todd brought it up a lot. And there was a lot of, when I was watching it, trying to understand the reason for the moves they were making, I was getting confused a lot because what they were doing seems wrong on the front, and I really do believe that there were a lot of mind games coming into this and how they know each other play, and I think it played out similar to that.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a difference, doesn't it, when you know someone, you know how they play, and you... There's kind of a double-edged sword in a way, because in your mind you kind of go, right, I need to do something different. But the other guy's also going, right, I need to do something different. And then you end up with this weird clash of nonsense at times where neither of them are like, oh, I don't want to do that because he'll know I was going to do that. So what would I not do? I would not do this. And then he's thinking the same. kind of a weird set of games, really, James, wasn't it?
I would say so, but it showed also the power of positioning engagements. In the third game there at the very, not exactly at the very end, but the one that Classic was pushing towards Rain's bases. Rain set up a flank, and even though he wasn't hitting both sides of the flank at exactly the same time, he still was able to be the victor in the fight because of the way in which damage was distributed, etc. So if he'd have hit them at exactly the same time, it would have been even more of a victory in Rain's favor. So positioning is very, very important.
Yeah, he's going to be very happy. You talked to both of them backstage, didn't you? And they were a bit worried about this match, weren't they?
Absolutely. And Rain, again, before he said that he wants to win this. I know CJ Hero wants to do it, and I know Rain wants to take him down. But I also talked to Classic, and I know he's very disappointed about this because, he came here through innovation, not declining his invitation. And so he feels that, yes, he's up to par with all the other players. However, it kind of makes him feel bad. He feels like he has something more to prove, and I just feel like this loss may, affect him a little bit today.
Yeah, well, we've got one more game left in this group, and it is going to be Classic going up against Harstem. So
that's what he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, you said earlier on you didn't feel like Harstem could win 2 in a row against the same player. So luckily he doesn't get Rain again, because that would have almost been terrible. Does he have a realistic shot against Classic?
To be fair, he played very, very well, and I'm going to stick to it. I don't think he can beat Classic, and I'm going to be very happy if he can.
All right, okay, we're going to take a very quick break, and when we come back, we will have that final game from Group B. It will be Europe's finest, at least in Taipei this weekend, going head-to-head with his Protoss brother from Korea. We'll find out who goes through from Group B after the break.